So I'm gonna show you what it looks like in the editing process using LRTimelapse. This software isn't mandatory, but in my opinion, it's the best time-lapse software out there. It's free for sequences under 400 images. I do have affiliate code in the description that gives me a small percentage of the sale at no extra cost to you in case you do want to go that route. All right, so we launched LRTimelapse, and in our bottom left window, this is where we can navigate to our folder footage. So let's go there. On our top left, we'll see a preview of what we're editing. So if you notice over here, there's numbers for all of our images. It'll tell you what interval it was shooting at, what aperture, shutter speed. This is basically all of our camera settings. And then the rest is gonna be the visual workflow. Now, this software is called LRTimelapse, which actually stands for Levels and Ramping Time-Lapse, which is technically the technique that we're doing where we're leveling and ramping the exposures over time for our Holy Grail time-lapse video. But what I want you to think about this software is called left to right time-lapse, because that's what we're gonna be doing. We're gonna be working very methodically, very simply from left to right. Once our image has loaded, we're gonna go to the top left of the visual workflow, and we're gonna click on the keyframe wizard. Once we click on that, we're gonna get a little slider where we can slide how many keyframes we want. For Holy Grail time-lapse, I recommend anywhere between 5 and 9. We're just gonna do 5. And once we've chosen the amount of keyframes we want, we'll click save. Once we've saved the metadatas, LRTimelapse 6 is going to have a feature where we can actually make edits in this program. This is a new feature. If you wanna do that, go ahead. In my opinion, this isn't quite flushed out yet, so I still recommend bringing this into Lightroom. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna drag this into Lightroom. Once we drag it into Lightroom, Lightroom is gonna automatically import the whole sequence. So this is really nice. And once the whole sequence is imported, you'll see that we have all of our photos, and the very first one has 4 keyframes. The 4 keyframes are referencing the ones that we made a keyframe of. In the bottom right hand of your Lightroom software, go to where it says LRT full sequences, and we're gonna choose 01 LRT keyframes. And now what are we gonna do? We're gonna again work from left to right. So I'm gonna press D to enter the develop module. We're gonna make the edit to this individual photo. Once you're happy with the edits, what you wanna do is you wanna select all of the images. Use your keyboard shortcut. It's Command A on a Mac, Control A on a PC. To select all the images. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna bring your mouse up to the top of the screen where there's a little script icon. And you're gonna click on that, and then you're gonna choose 01 LRTimelapse sync keyframes. And this is just gonna sync them all from left to right. And then you're just gonna go through all of these photos and make the additional edits, maybe change the white balance, maybe make a few changes. One thing to know is this is a sunset time-lapse. So the main thing you wanna do is just make sure it's getting a little bit darker every single time. So, check your histogram, make sure your edits are getting darker. Once you're happy and you're at the final image, just do a quick little scan, make sure you're liking everything. The white balance is something that always gives me a little bit of time. Okay, so once you're done and you're happy with all of your white balance and all your adjustments, it's looking nice, what we're gonna do is we're gonna press G. This is gonna bring us into the library mode. And then again, we're gonna select all of our images because we wanna save our metadata. We wanna save all of those changes that we just made. So we're gonna press Command S on a Mac or Control S on a PC. Once that's done, we're gonna hop into LRTimelapse, and now we're on the second panel, and again, we're gonna work from left to right. We're gonna click Auto Transition. You're gonna see some changes get made, and then it's gonna start giving you a visual preview, and you'll be able to tell that this is happening when you see a bunch of little bouncing icons at the bottom. All right, so then we have an option for Visual Deflicker, and when we click on that, you'll see another drop down with a slider, and this is just how smooth we're gonna try to smooth it out. It's tempting to wanna think you just wanna smoothen it all the way up, but that's not always the best idea. I just let it default for me. You don't need to try to go super crazy. It's really intuitive. And there's this option over here for multi-pass deflicker. So if this doesn't do it really well, you can just click Visual Deflicker again, run multi-pass deflicker, and do this until it's absolutely perfect. But hopefully, you only have to do it once or twice. So finally, when you're happy with all of your settings, we'll go into Lightroom, and at the bottom right, navigate to the LRTimelapse full sequence. Press Command A and Control A on a PC. Then navigate to the metadata and read metadata from files. And then again, we're gonna select all of our photos, Command A on a Mac, Control A on a PC, select them all, and then press the export button. And we're gonna get this export dialog box. You have the options for TIFF or JPEG, and you can export them out. And then eventually, once the whole thing goes through the process, it's going to automatically load up the LRTimelapse preview, and we can hop in there and see what it looks like. All right, so here is all of our settings that we have an option to. I like to just have the source resolution because I'm gonna continue editing along the way, but if you're happy with it, just choose the one that makes the most sense for you. I like to do quality very high. Frame rate is 23.976 seconds. And my color sampling, I like to do 422, just keep it. If I wanted to go ultra high, then I could do 444, which is an option for like completely lossless. Video levels, I leave it at legal TV. and the gamut, I leave it at standard, but feel free to do whatever you'd like. Here is one option that's kind of nice, is you have an ability to add motion blur. So this is the one big problem with shooting a Holy Grail time lapse in aperture priority mode, is we don't typically have motion blur in the beginning, and we want it. So here, LRTimelapse tries to give us a way to force it, and sometimes what I'll do is I'll actually stack the two time lapses, one exported with the motion blur and one without. And then in the beginning, I will blend and just like animate the transparency. So that way in the beginning, we do have a little bit of motion blur, and it's faux, but this is what it looks like. All right, so that's it for settings. And if you edit yours right, you might get a kitten. Hey, if you're finding this video helpful and you want to level up your skills so you can save time, have less headaches, expand your skills, and most importantly, charge more money, my time-lapse course will help you with all three and comes with a free money-back guarantee if you aren't satisfied. At the very least, do me a favor and like or subscribe. Happy shooting, and I'll see you next time. Please do it. Oh, such a cute little baby. Thank you.